Hello, everyone. So this is going to be our introduction to Apache Spark on IBM Cloud session. And I am Yelena once again. We met about a couple of weeks ago. Re-met rather, right? We met earlier in the coursework. Okay, so agenda, there are going to be some key reminders and what not to do. We're going to talk about Spark environment usage. I'm going to remind you how to ask for assistance effectively, right? And I'm going to show you again Spark environment, and we're going to talk a little bit about the elements of the Python notebook, high-level steps for this assignment, and some troubleshooting, right? So most of you have been doing a great job, and some of you need to improve on this, because asking questions effectively is part of your data analyst and data scientist career. So basically, you cannot say something like, I can't log into IBM Cloud. What you need to say is that what you're trying to do, what step of the IBM Cloud account creation are you at, right? What are you expecting as a result? And what do you see instead? And whenever possible, please put the screenshots of the error messages, right? So what would I do if I was going to perhaps borrow your username and password from you and try to reproduce the error? How? All right, what is the error? What exactly is the problem? Because if I say I can't log in, it's too vague. It means either my account could be expired or I could be entering wrong password. Multiple things could happen, right? So that, and I don't know how important to tell you, please do not call the UMGC help desk, but instead use the sales forms in the classroom to submit the ticket and select the last option, UMGC virtual lab support. This is extremely important because a couple people in this course still called the help desk and I did not get the tickets for several business days, unfortunately. That's how it is, okay? All right, and I don't know how loud should I speak? Should I bump the volume at the highest setting or what? Or how many times can I tell it? Please do not put credit card number. I sound like a broken record, but seriously, in session 9040, already we had 2 people who entered credit card number. Please be careful. Well, at least they did it by mistake at their account set up, so they did not waste their code, right? But if you do it at any time now, you're going to waste your code and you won't be able to get another code. So that's going to be a problem. Please, if you believe you're going to get more capacity hours with credit card, you're wrong, okay? Please do not do that. Do not enter, by all means, do no credit cards, okay? And please do not deactivate your IBM Cloud account. This cannot be undone, and you will not be able to get another code until, well, actually not even until December, it's until next year. It used to be until December, now they changed it, the code is good for a year. So for another year, right, you won't be able to get a different code, right? So please be careful. Do not enter credit card number. Do not, also, if you accidentally delete object storage, it's going to be difficult to fix, right? So object storage, when you create the project on the cloud, there is a location where the data in that project is stored, right? Object storage. Please do not delete it. Do not contact IBM unless I tell you to do that. I won't, more likely. More likely it will be done on your behalf, okay? Please, there is some code that is graded. Do not post this in a discussion, all right? So this, and also after you're done with the tutorial, assignment 2, there is a big chunk of assignment 2 where you will be writing the code. The graded code cannot be posted in an assignment discussion because this is an individual work. This is not the class collaboration work, right? If you're stuck, you're gonna do what? Submit the Salesforce ticket, right? Please do not open Spark Notebook in multiple browser windows, because if you're opening the notebook in edit mode twice, right? If you try to edit a notebook in 2 browser tabs or 2 browser windows, you're going to be running the runtime environment twice. You could be burning your 10 hours quicker than you know, right? And you, very importantly, must stop kernel before exiting the notebook. I'm not sure how to emphasize it. Every semester, somebody has to do something that it tells not to do, right? You need to always stop the environment, and I'll show you. All right? And please do not share your work with your current and future data science students. This is how Turnitin works. So you submit your paper today, right? If you share a paper with your classmates, when they submit that paper tomorrow, Turnitin will find it a match with your paper, right? So it's going to be bad for them. So please don't do it. It's going to be bad for them. The question arises whether you gave the paper or both of you got the paper from the same place. So no, please just keep yourself safe and don't do this. I was a student before, so I know what I'm talking about. Okay, I never had to go in that direction, but please do not share your work with future students. Okay. Now, what do we need to do? Well, environmental usage. What is this? All right. So your last, in couple weeks ago, what you had to do is you had to get your, you had to go to academic initiatives, right? First of all, it was your first step. And you had to get the feature code. Then you went and created your IBM Cloud account. That's a big cloud, right? And for that cloud, you had to enter that feature code to have access, not the credit card number. Right? Two people made a mistake, bad mistake. Not the credit card number. I'm not going to call people out, but I do tell you that it happened this semester. It had not happened for a year at least. All right. So now you're going to use the IBM data platform that you're going to use, also known as Watson Studio. That's a sub-platform on IBM Cloud. And on that sub-platform, you're going to be running the Spark environment, right? And Spark environment, well, it should say Spark 3.4, Python 3.10, but you know what I mean. It's going to consume 1.5 capacity unit capacity units per 1 hour. So basically, you have 10 divided by 1.5, 6.6 hours of using the runtime environment. But it does not mean that you have to run the environment while you are writing the code or while you're studying the output, right? The notebook is consuming the capacity hours when it's in edit mode, and I'll show you it again, right? You want to stop all runtime, but closing your browser tab does not stop the environment. So right now, so I'm here, right? Those are the projects that I have. See here, when I click in here, administration, right? I'm right now in a cloud pack for data. It's also known as in Watson Studio in some of the readings, right? So you've got the IBM Cloud. This is where you got your access last time, right? And in my IBM Cloud, if I see that's my account. If I go to manage and if I go to account, I should see how many days I have, right? It's in the account settings. I should see, in my case, I have 239 days because it has to do with the time of the year when I open up my account, and I keep renewing it every year. And I have those activation codes, see? So this is the activation code. See, it's 365 days. It was 365 days for me. They keep on changing. They keep on changing number of days and how things works. But see, I applied this feature code. I do not apply the card. As soon as I apply the credit card, that's it. My account is no longer academic. I not only be charged, but the TA does not have, right? Me, I don't have the non-academic account. I don't have pay-as-you-go. So how am I going to assist if things on pay-as-you-go are different from from academic account, right? So please be careful. Your account must remain free trial at all time, and do not close the account. This cannot be undone. Okay, you're gonna lose it, and then obviously there's gonna be a problem, right? So that's IBM Cloud. You have catalog of services and etc. Right? We're gonna get back to it, but IBM Cloud has what? It's a platform. It's a sub-platform called what? It's a data platform, right? This is where you're gonna go. You're gonna go in there and you're gonna create a project. Project is just set of data, notebooks, right? And anything else that you use in the same project, right? So right now what I'll do is I'm gonna create a new project. Just getting into a habit. New project. Well, you may reuse the project that you create for Spark tutorial for assignment 2 if you wish. But now I'm going to create a new project. I click on new project. I'm going to put the project name and I'm going to call it, let's call it summer 2024 demo, right? Description is optional, right? So this is optional. See this, it's taking cloud object storage. So I already have an object storage. It's an area where my data that I'm gonna use in that project will be stored. And object storage is divided into the buckets, right? So it's a different bucket number for project. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna create it right now. I'm created my project. Right now it's just empty project. Nothing in it because I have not uploaded the data, but I'm creating the new project for you, right? Here we go. That's a project. Okay, now there is a difference. There is a resource usage for the project versus monthly resource usage. It says, aha, I've used 0 capacity hours. Oh, I might be thinking, wait a minute. When I reach my 10 hours, can I create a new project and get 10 more hours? No, it's 10 hours per month. This is not 10 hours per project, it's 10 hours per month. But if I want to see, is it in the administration environmental runtime? Remember this page. This page shows you how many hours you still have. I still have my 10 because I tested this assignment last week, right? I was smart because you cannot carry over hours from last week, right? So now for this month, I still have 10 hours. Now what I'm gonna do, am I using hours right now? No, because I'm not running anything, right? I need to get back to projects. How do I get back to projects? Well, I can go back to, well, skip tour, see it's allocated here. My projects are listed on my homepage, or I could also go to projects. I can click on view all projects, and this is a project that I created, right? So what I have to do it first is I'm gonna upload the data, right? So how do I upload the data? I can click here, right? Here, and then I can find the data, and I stored the file on the desktop, and the file is called employee attrition analysis, right? So that's the data. I did not open it. I just save it from my desktop to my desktop from the assignment folder. I did not open the file. Upload the file. It's going to be added to my project, right? Next thing is something that we need to be very careful with when we start adding the notebook. So see, I click assets, it's in here, right? And some of you asked me today, one of you asked me about the bucket. Bucket number will be in the code. Alternatively, bucket number is also going to be, if you go to manage, see this when you click here, this is my project. When I click on manage, over here, what is this? This is a bucket number. Bucket number will be very important because the data that I just uploaded, it was loaded into that bucket, right? In that section. of the object storage, right? This is where my data was just loaded. And I'll have to use it somewhere in the code because I'm going to be reading the data, right? I'm going to be reading the data that I just uploaded in a Spark code. Okay? So that's a project. This is a bucket. Okay? And it also will be in the code. But if you want to write down here, if you want to copy it from here, you can copy it from here. No problem. Okay? Now, I just uploaded the data 1 minute ago. Okay? So, but suppose that I uploaded the notebook and I've been working, I'm in my notebook right now. And if I do this, if I go and close the browser tab, if my active environment is running, am I stopping it? No. All right. So you really need to be prepared when you are ready to execute the code, right? And then when you're done, you always need to stop the runtime environment. So I recommend maybe run this notebook when you're less likely to be distracted, because sometimes you start the work, your phone rings, and you forget that you're running the environment here, right? And while you're on the conversation, while you're on the phone, the environment is consuming hours. Well, I'm trying to help. I'm trying to give you tips because I was a student also. So anyway, no. Okay, well, I'm gonna upload the notebook, but I should have told you there is a must-know vocabulary, because if I'm telling you, for example, if I'm telling you something like copy the bucket number, and if you're not sure what the bucket number is, then we need to go back to the vocabulary, right? So you need to know what's IBM Cloud, what's the Cloud Park for data. You need to know what project is. You need to know what object storage is. You need to know what notebook is. You need to know what notebook cell is, right? You need to know what credentials are, and etc. Vocabulary is very important because otherwise we will not be able to understand each other. It's going to be like I'm speaking foreign language to you, right? So high level steps. This is what you're going to do. This is what I started for you now, right? To demo. I logged into my IBM Cloud Park for data, right, for the platform. And I created an empty project and I already uploaded the data. One time only. I did not have to do it now because I already had this done. But in a storage, right? And I always need to remember where it's located. But there is a setting. There is a setting that you need to set to allow the object storage to be used for data, right? So this is storage delegation, and this is only once. You need to make sure that the checkbox is checked, right? Projects. So it means I want to use the object storage bucket to store data that I upload to my projects. I'm going back to the projects now, right? I was in this one here. And I'm going to upload the notebook, but I want to do it when I'm absolutely ready, right? I added the data, I showed you, and you need to add data before you add the notebook. It's very important. Now we're going to add the notebook. We need to make sure that we choose the correct runtime environment. So let's do it. And I always, this is what happens. Before the assignment is released, I log in and I check which environment available is the latest, right? So last semester, we had Spark 4.3, and it was, now they just released, they made 4.4 available. It was recently made available, right? So what I'll do now, look, I click on new asset, right? And what I need to do is I need to select the notebook, right? Oops. What happened? See, I tested it a few days ago, and now They added more stuff in here. It was not here, right? So let's do this. I'm gonna do this. New asset, and now it was called code editor, right? So now we need to figure out what it is, right? Because they made the change. This environment keeps changing as we type, right? So let me try code editor. Oh, here it is. Now they changed it. So update to the instructions. It was just changed on me. See this? Work with, oh wait, let's try that. Jupyter Notebook Editor, see? Guys, important, it just happened today. Just happened today. You need to select this. See? Work with model in Python or R notebooks. Change of instructions. Attention, it just happened today. Okay? So when you go to the project, when you are ready to add the notebook, what you need to do is you need to see here, it's in here. It's right here. They changed it. It used to be called code editor. They just changed it. It's a little bit tricky. Now, what you need to do is you need to add it from local file, right? So the interface changed today. Please note the interface change. We have to deal with it, okay? So now I'm uploading it from local file. And in here, this is not right. I must select default, whatever the latest is, right? So Spark 3.4, Python 10, Python 3.10, this one, okay? Spark 3.4, Python 3.10. I selected this, right? Now, pay attention. What does it say in here? How many capacity hours is it going to use, right? 1.5. And I forgot to upload the file. I need to upload the file. But before I did this, it's extremely important to make sure that I select correct environment, because I don't want to start the wrong environment, because then deleting the notebook does not stop the environment. I would have to stop the environment and then delete what I did. I need to be really careful at this step. So here, right? Write this. See, new notebook. This is a notebook name. It's editable. I can edit it if I want, but I should not worry about it. And I'm gonna click on create. Click on create. But you saw there was a change. The interface just changed. It's changing on the fly. The longer you wait after assignment is released, the more changes. And you'll need to figure it out. So now, what is it doing right now? It instantiating the runtime environment for the notebook. It's starting up the environment, and it will open my notebook in a edit mode, right? Okay. So it takes a little bit of time, but it's starting, and it will consume right now. Bang, the clock starts. It's going to consume the capacity hours from this minute on. So I need to be careful. Now what I need to do, so that's a notebook, right? I have different type of cells where I have a description of what things do, right? This one just shows the current Spark version that you're running, and this shows the current time. Okay, now here, this step is important. We're going to add the credentials, right? How are we going to do it? Okay, so you're gonna click on here. Do you see this code snippets? You click on the code snippets. Then you're gonna click on read data. Then you're gonna click on select data from project. See, it was very important. You had to upload data first. Now, you're gonna select data asset, okay? And this is a data asset that you're gonna do, employee attrition. I selected my data asset, and what I'm going to do here, I'm going to click on what? Select. Okay, now what I'm going to do, I need to click in this cell, right? The cell where I want the code to go. Now I need to select Spark session data frame. If you don't see this option, you may have selected incorrect environment. You should see Spark session data frame, right? Cursor through here, insert to cell, insert code to cell. Now you will need to edit few things here. So, and what do you need to edit? Well, first of all, you have to rename this here because it was named differently everywhere else in the code, right? So we're going to go to instructions, and trust me, the assignment has the same instructions as this slide. So what is this called? It's called df underscore data one, right? So we have to call it df in here. I have to call it df underscore data underscore one, right? I have several options here. I can rename this guy here just into lines, or I can edit the whole code. I would rather edit the whole, I would rather edit this to lines. One more thing that you need to do, because the data has a numeric column age, right? And we need to make sure that the numbers are read as numbers. You need to add this option infer schema. So the way I could do it is this. I could take this line here, Control C, copy paste, right? Like this, and then I'm going to edit it. I'm going to edit the word header to infer schema. But I have to make sure that the capitalization is exactly correct, right? This capitalization has to be correct as in instructions. So I'm just going to do this. And I want to infer schema. So what does the infer schema do? It will make sure that I read the data types correctly. If it's a number, I want to run my analysis on a number. I don't want to analyze the ASCII values of that number, right? It's bucket. This is a bucket, remember? Remember, I showed you another place to copy it from. You can copy it from here, right? And you need to go to the code and replace this word bucket, okay? Then what you're gonna do, when this is done, you're gonna select from the first cell, right? And you want to execute all. You want to restart kernel and rerun the whole notebook. You want to run everything now, right? And I'm gonna do Jesus restart and run all cells. Yes, at the moment I don't need to clear anything because I didn't do. I just click, okay? I'm not running the whole homework for you, but I'm starting. I'm just starting, right? And before you do any exercises, you have to understand what these examples do, right? Because sometimes an example can give you descriptive statistics for one column, and you are asked to do the same, but on a different column, okay? So here, but I'm not gonna run it all. I'm gonna stop it. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna go here, file, I'm gonna stop kernel. I'm gonna stop the execution, shut down. I'm not gonna run your assignment. But what you will do is you're gonna go to edit mode. I'll show you. Okay? What is this? The line follow differs slightly. Oh, it differs? Okay, yes, it does, because it's updated. It's a new Spark version. The code is slightly different, but the concept is the same. Okay? It's a different Spark version. It's going to be slightly different from the screenshot. I agree. But it's taking two parameters. See this? The first parameter is a file name, and the second parameter is a bucket name. So That's what you need to know, right? I'm gonna stop kernel. Stop. 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 Okay, I'll stop. Okay. Now I'll exit this. Exit. Yes, and it's gonna be even more different. The longer you wait to work on assignment, the more difference it's gonna be because this is a cloud. You're not working on your computer as you did in the prior courses. Things can get updated as I talk, so it's very quick. Okay, so be aware of that. And maybe if you are getting an incomplete for the course, perhaps because you missed Spark assignment, it's quite possible that Spark 4.4 is not going to exist by the time when you start doing the assignment, if you're doing it really late. So this is a rule of the game. You need to do it on time. I was a student, trust me. And at some point, I was learning this also. So, it keeps changing as we speak. Now, okay? So, now I need to always make sure that I'm not running anything. I go to administration. I remember stopping the kernel. But who knows? Let's see what it does. Okay, no active environment. At the moment, it still has not refreshed the hours. But I expect to see something like 0.1 because I ran something. Now, suppose that I'm done with running the code that was given to me, right? Do I have to have my notebook in the edit mode to stare at the code to study it? No. So, what options do I have? I go here, right? And I can just go click on a view. This opens my notebook in a view mode, right? So I'm in a view mode without starting the kernel. I can see what actually went on, right? And again, the code was generated, of course. It's going to be slightly different from what it is on a screenshot. But just know that this command takes what as an input? It takes what? The file name, and it takes a bucket name, right? And that's a bucket name that you need to use, right? You need to make sure that you call in the same name, this one, right? And you want to enforce schema true. So it's different, but it's not totally different. You know what I'm saying? No, it's actually it's close. It's close enough, right? So it's close enough. See, so you go and you copy this bucket. Look at this. This command in here, the commands are in different order, but the command is still there. See this? It's there is a command called load, right? cos.url that takes two input parameters. It takes the name of the file and it takes the bucket name. So it's still there. So yeah. Sure. No, if anything does not make sense, you're gonna submit the ticket, right? Because others may have the same question. So I'll be aware that that's something that needs to be highlighted or something like that, right? So you know the recent interface change, but when you're ready, this is what you're gonna do, right? So what you're gonna do is you're gonna prepare the code in a notepad or any other editor, right? Like for example, the new, right? So this is a new file, and you're gonna type something like exercise one, right? And you're gonna type the code. When you're ready, you're just gonna paste the code for exercises, and you need to rerun the notebook from the beginning. Always you rerun the notebook from the beginning because you're starting the new Spark session, right? Anything that you defined in the old Spark session is no longer there. So what you do, you're gonna have to click on the edit, right? And as soon as you do that, you're gonna go to what you're gonna start consuming the hours right now. So now it's time to be careful, time to be cautious, right? Okay, so here it is. What you're gonna do is you need to clear all output. So what you'll do, you go here and you're gonna do restart and clear all output. because you want to clear the output and you want to rerun everything from scratch with your code in. Now, there are some ungraded exercises. For ungraded exercises, it does not mean that you need to get them right. It's okay to get them wrong, but it's not okay to skip them. You want to attempt them. Why? Because, well, anything that's not graded today can reappear as graded tomorrow, right? So see, like here it's giving you example, right? It's grouping by department, and it's producing you the counts by department, right? Then when you get exercise 6, instead of department, it's asking you to produce the count by the salary level. Salary is a categorical column, and it has 3 values, low, medium, high, and it's asking you to produce the counts by the salary, right? After you're done with this, right, once you know how to do this, it's very easy to get this, because here what it's doing is that it's adding another grouping column to the signal statement, right? So see here, in here, it's showing you department and count by department, right? You are asked to count by the salary level. But then to make it a little bit more interesting, it's asking to display the salary level, the department name first, comma, salary level, right? Then into your count. And remember that in a SQL, any column that is non-aggregate, right? Any column that you use to group by must appear in the group by. Here you are grouping by department and by salary. So you have to put those two in a group by clause, right? Once you got that, you go to this one, and to get to this one, it just adds another column to the grouping. You add another column to the select clause and add another column to the group by clause. And you get a select statement with 3 grouping columns, right? One thing that I'm going to give you a little hint here. Number of retained employees. All right, so how do we know how many employees were retained? Here you would have to take a sum, because if an employee left, right, then the value in attrition column is going to be a 1. So if I take a sum of this column, if I take a sum of the attrition column, I'm going to know how many people left, right? How do I know how many people stayed? Well, it's the number of people minus number of people who left, right? Last query does not call for subqueries. You can do it without the subqueries. You can have multiple grouping functions in the select statement. For example, you can have a count, right? To see how many people are in the department. You can take the sum. The sum is going to give you how many people left. So if I know how many people I have, total, right? If I know how many people left, I can know how many people stayed. I just do the minus, right? Count, whatever, right? Minus sum of this column. It's going to give you the number of people who stayed. That doesn't call for the subquery. Or you can also use case statements, right? So that solution will be introduced to you later, and you will have another chance to practice this, okay? But while I'm doing blah, 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 what happens to my capacity hours? Elena has to stop the kernel now, right? But remember this, when you're ready, after you paste your exercise code, you have to restart and clear the output. Restart, clear all output. All output should be clear. Right now it's not clear. I have to wait for it to clear, right? It's still restarting. Or did not I tell it to? Okay, it's clear, see? You want to run it clear output and start from the beginning. And remember, different types of cell. This is a markdown cell, because What it is just a heading and then it's explanation and table of contents, right? Then you have a cell with the code that you actually run. Okay? So now, while I'm speaking, I need to stop the kernel. Stop. Shut down. Right? I shut down my kernel. Stop. Okay? Exiting. Leave. And always make sure, if you forgot, if you close the tab, immediately, when you remember it, run. Log in. Go to administration. Right? And in administration, you're going to see environmental runtime. Make sure nothing runs here. Well, it's not updating, not sure why. I'm going to refresh. Oh, there we go. So now it shows that I've used 0.2 out of 9.8. So the counter is going up, 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 up. I need to be very careful. If you're doing this assignment correctly, you should not use more than 1 hour. You should have 9 hours left for assignment 2. And in assignment 2, there are 3 parts. First part, only things that you'll need to do is the credentials and the bucket. So that should not take more than half hour. Okay? That should not take more than half hour. Everything else should be left for part 2. Part 3 does not consume the hours. Okay, so you have 10 hours per month. You will be given hours in July. But please, 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 do not, please be careful. Do not burn the hours before the month starts, because that's how you get behind. Then you cannot do the assignment until the next month. And then you start, you're late, and by that time, the environment could be deprecated, the interface changes. When I tested the assignment on my end, right, the instructions matched. When I added the notebook, right, when I went to the project, it says code editor. It no longer does, see? Things change as I talk here. So watch out, and the sooner you do the work, the better you are. But it does not mean that without reading anything, without reading any instructions, jump in and do it. I'm not saying that. But I'm saying that try to get it done as soon as you can, because then there will be discrepancies, right? Things change. Oh, and I forgot to tell you that you have to save the notebook as an HTML. All right, so I'm gonna go back now. I have to go back because I forgot to show you that, right? It's in the instructions, but I'm going to the project. This is the project, right? Here. And I'm going back to my notebook. This is my notebook. I opened it. And I opened it in the view mode. I should have, see, I cannot save it. From the view mode, there is no option, right? So let's do this. I have to go to edit, unfortunately. And when I'm done, oops, it starts in the environment. So now I need to watch, because I don't want to make a mistake. Okay, so see here, you have to go to download as, and you're going to download it as HTML. It's going to download to your download folder by default. Then you can print it as PDF. Oh, it's going to take a little bit of time. It's downloading. And then you just print it as PDF. Okay, oh, it's in here. It's here. It's not blank. Not sure why it's not. If I go to the folder where it was downloaded, right? If I go to my downloads folder in this browser, downloads, I can see it. It's here. So see, this is here. I can open the file, and then I can save that file. And I can save that file as I can print it as PDF, right? Control P, and then here I have an option to save this file as PDF. If I want to submit it as PDF, it's your choice, okay? Cool. So now I'm gonna close this out. Very important, right? So let me gonna be the clumsy student right now. Okay? I left. I forgot to stop the kernel. My kernel is running. Aye. Tragedy. What's gonna happen? Okay, you go here You go to administration and you go to environmental runtimes. Okay. See this? It shows here. Over here, it shows that I have my environment running right now. What do? I just go to actions here and I click on delete to stop. Okay. Click delete. That's it. That will stop the environment. Now, this shows how many hours I've used total. There is also such a thing as hours per project, right? But does not matter. It's total. That's total hours per month. You cannot cheat it. You cannot use another project. See, like in this project, right? It should show that I already. If I scroll down, right, I should see in overview. I should see that I already used this 0.3 per month. I used 0.3 this month in this project. Okay. Now, but if I go to another project, older project, right, I did not use anything this month. So Yelena is confused. What are her actual hours? It's a total. The actual hours that I have used is going to be the total of what I have used in all of my projects. So creating another project is not going to fix the problem. Okay? So please, 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 please be careful. Well, this one is still, it's taking a little bit of time to refresh. It's supposed to say 0.3. When it refreshes, it's going to show 0.3 because I used 0.3 as you saw, right? It gives you the warning, but I don't quite remember how many hours are left when it gives you the warning. Maybe a couple, but please don't get there. Please promise me that you're going to follow instructions and you're going to be super, 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 super careful here. Okay? Please, please, please. And keep posted because what I will do if I know that somebody is having an issue, at least it's known, at least I can communicate with the faculty. If you submitted the ticket, it means that you're not ignoring the issue. We are working on it, right? I'm aware, instructor will be aware, and etc. Okay? So it's better than to keep it silent and trying to being unable to figure out how to solve the issue and you're not getting anywhere. You don't want this situation. Okay, so please, I was a student and I understand. Even though I was a student in a different program, I had to learn this, right? As I started assistant with this, I had to learn it. So trust me. Used to be 25 hours, and sometimes we were lucky when the counter was not working. But when the counter was not working, people reported counter not working. Always something, huh? Okay. Now, well, this is just showing you sometimes if you selected the wrong environment, sometimes it lets you switch it. Sometimes it doesn't. Okay. If you selected the wrong environment, right? Suppose I selected the I'm going to the project now, right? I'm in the project here. All projects, 7, right? So I'm here and I'm gonna go to the assets. Suppose that when I started this notebook, I selected the wrong environment. If I go here and if I delete this notebook, I'm not necessarily gonna stop the environment if it's running. So you want to always stop the environment. And I know I might sound like I'm paranoid, but I stopped the kernel. And then when I also went to the admin here there to check to make sure that nothing is running. Well, that's how it is, okay? Because most of the hours should go for part 2 of the assignment 2, where you're going to be writing the code. But part 1, you're going to be given the code. It's going to be the Titanic notebook. And what we're going to do, in 2 weeks, we're going to have another session. And as a gift, I'm going to give you another example, okay? There will be something in this example that not in a walkthrough, but it's going to be something for you to take away with, to step away with, if you will. They're going to be in the next walkthrough, you're going to get an additional example that is not in the classroom, and it's a bonus because the walkthrough is supposed to add to what's in the classroom, right? I'm not supposed to be repeating everything. So, but just, don't get nervous. I'll help you. But the only time when TAs cannot help is when students do not ask for help. How do I know when somebody needs help? How do I know if you're not, if how does the instructor know if you did not submit the work just because you got stuck on a code or just because you forgot that the work was due? You know what I'm talking about? So as a students are responsible to track the assignment due date, marking the calendar when the class starts, because you don't expect the faculty to keep reminding you about the due date, right? As a courtesy, the faculty do, but it's your task to track of your assignments, make sure that you submit them on time, make sure that you go to the Salesforce and submit the ticket. Do not call UMGC help desk because they're totally separate. They create something called pre-case, and you know how many cases there are per day. So the case does not go to the right direction, right? So if I'm going to go to the Salesforce, see this. So I cannot emphasize this enough. So if I go to the Salesforce, right, and if I go to cases, and if I go to the like general view, right, there's just any cases created today. Take a look at how many cases have been created just in one day. It's everything. It's financial aid. It's advising. Everything in the world. See? So, am I going to search for your name in here? No, right? I'm not going to search for your name. So if you create case correctly, right? I should see. So all data 650 cases, I can see them. See? I can select all data cases and I can see them, right? If all data cases that have not been taken by a TA, so see? So I cannot emphasize enough to make sure that you use the Salesforce form in the classroom, because what happens when you do it, when you call, they create something, the pre-case, it's not going to even show in the cases created today. It's going to show in another view that I don't have access to. So, what's going to happen is I'm not going to receive the case for a few days. And if I don't receive the case for a few days, so there is nothing I can do about it, right? And if I responded to you and if I did not hear from you for a few days, I'm going to follow up. I'll try. Sometimes it's going to be with notification to your instructor. Okay. Sometimes your instructor is going to know, because, I need to keep the instructor posted so that professor knows that you are working on an assignment, you ran into issue, you met with Yelena on this day, and this and this and this was done, the steps that were done, okay? The steps that have not been done. And I think a couple people still need to work on IBM Cloud account. If you don't have an IBM Cloud account, and if you don't have your ticket in, you better put the ticket in. And remember, it's different. You got a feature code. Don't confuse the two. Feature code is in order to activate the account, right? But for some of you, you had to use a workaround. You had to use thanks goodness it still worked. You had to create a brand new Gmail, right? And use that to create the IBM Cloud account and apply the code. Because if you put, but now please be very, 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 very careful. Do not put credit card number, because then if you ruin the code, you're not going to get another code for another year. It's very difficult. So please, please, please. I don't know how loud should I say. And even in the course content, there is a graphic of that credit card sign crossed out, and every single assignment instructions, right? Okay, what else you need to do? You're going to run the code. There is also a quiz that you need to take. Please, while I've been there, I was a student. When you take the quiz, make sure that the question says, if you need to select two answers, the question will say to select two answers. If you need to select three answers, the question says to select three answers. If it does not say to choose two answers, then it's one answer, okay? So hopefully we all know how to count until whatever it is, two or three. Because if it says to select two answers, you select only one, you get no credit. Or if it does not say to select to select two answers, you're selecting two answers, you get no credit because you're trying to get the answer, you're not following the instructions to choose just the best answer, okay? So just know that. This quiz is not auto-graded because some questions are some questions require writing sentences, right? Auto-graded works well only if it's things like multiple choice, multi-select, true and false. But if it's something where you need to answer question, then it needs to be graded by the instructor. So that's why this quiz is a little different. Okay? Okay, I'm gonna go back to the slides. Okay, well, those are just some of the notebooks that are samples. You can open them in the view mode. And in general, just know this. When you add a new notebook, there are three options. You can create a blank notebook. You can create the notebook from the link, right? If you have an existing notebook somewhere, just by importing it, you can take it from the file, which you're doing on this assignment. But there is no way to write a fancy program that builds a notebook for you. That's just a dummy answer choice, okay? Remember, capacity hours are going up, right? Up, as you keep on working on notebook, right? Interface changes happen. So, see what happened? Because nobody is going to test the assignment every single day. I tested it the day before it was released. And since then, there is a change, and the change is on a step where you add the notebook. It's not code editor anymore, right? But I figured out on the spot, so make sure to watch this recording. Okay. Now, are there any questions? I would like to see questions. Please, do ask questions now. We will have another session for the assignment too, and there will be more examples for you. Anything. Please. Professor Rozan, anything you want to say? Professor Rozan, you still here?
Yes, I'm listening. No, I don't want to have anything to add. Just want to remind everyone to follow the assignment directions and submit on time. And as you said, we are going to have another session for the next assignment.
Yes, and there will be an example that I'll let you have. I'll give you the copy.
And we are reminding this everywhere. And you reminded already multiple times. But I just want everyone to follow the instructions very well, to not to charge too many hours for their accounts. Otherwise, they are going to run out of the hours and they cannot complete their assignment. So everybody needs to be very careful with their capacity.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's true. So yeah, because then every semester somebody runs out. So yeah. Yeah. Anything else, Professor Ozon?
That's all I have, Elena.
I guess that's all I have too. So I'm gonna stop.
I have a question. I'm sorry. It's not related to this next tutorial or the Spark assignment. I was just wondering if it's possible for the previous assignment, if we could get like an example of maybe what a good example for the pseudocode or what the table light design should look like. I know we received the feedback and everything and the grades, and that's great. But I just sometimes I know it could also look different depending on how you thought about it, but it's kind of nice to sometimes see what that looks like.
The answer key. I'll leave it up to instructor.
We don't have. I mean, personally, I don't have any assignment key or answers, but I also cannot share the other students or previous students assignment or submissions, honestly. But for the if you want, if you're in my session and if you want more detailed feedback, just send me an email. I can give you like a more detailed feedback for your submission.
But did the example provide help? There was one example that was provided actually.
Yeah, the sport and health, that example, that helped a
Yeah.
lot. Yeah. I just, I think I was thinking about it in a good way. I just kind of wanted to see if there was other ways to be thinking about it or if there was something that I could have improved on. But yeah.
Mhm.
To get the full grade above the 90%, if you do like all the requirements exactly, you get 90%. If you would like to go beyond the 90%, you can add more examples. You can add some extra explanation. You can think of from the other's perspective. You can create some critical discussion. But if you submit exact the assignment requirement, you get around 89, 90, 91, those area.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah,
that makes it a little more clear.
this is to encourage all the students to give more than the requirements, to submit like a with some extra critical thinking, some more like a critical analysis of the submission. You can create a table, but what do you understand from this table, right? Or you can ask we can just read a website and you know put what you understand from that website, but what are the another critical elements you can add that's going to put you more than 90% and push to 95, 96. That's where you are, that's where it is going to take you.
Okay, I'll keep that in mind. That's helpful. Thank you.
Sure.
It's not easy. It's not easy because no, I mean the program I was on, we had midterm and finals. You guys don't have midterm and finals, so I thought it's more fun when you have all these projects and it's basically what you can do rather than what you know. You see what I'm saying? So I was on a program with midterms and finals. Well, some of them they were take home. Well, yeah, take home you have 1 week to do it, but it's like a final where you have a bunch of questions and sometimes the questions you need to research and you have to answer and so it's harder. I like this approach better. So you guys are luckier than when I was, because at that time, when I did my master's, we did not have this program. But well, I like this approach better than a midterm and final approach. Well, anyway, anything else? The final was usually questions or maybe the problems that I had to solve, or sometimes even proofs. In a DBST program, the second course, there are some proofs. So yeah, basically it was that stuff. Some problems or something that you want to solve. Sometimes some code that you had to write to solve the problem or things like that. So midterm finals, that's how I graduated from my program. So thankfully you don't have it, you have the projects. It's about what you can do rather than what you know. Of course you have to know to do, but questions? Any questions? Well, if there are no questions, that I'm gonna end this session and I'm gonna give you the slides. Okay, and the recording. Good? Okay. I'm stopping the recording and stop sharing. Oh wait, let me see something. Okay, good.